That looks so cool. Might be overdoing it a little bit, but wow. Yeah, if you guys are interested of this setup, here's a quick behind the scenes look at how I'm getting this lighting on my face and on the background right now. This is pretty much going to be my main setup for future videos coming up. Since this is my first time doing a video like this with this new lighting setup, I thought I would show you. And by the way, what I'm using here is an Atmosphere can from Atmosphere, I believe that's the name of the company. And if you guys are actually interested in a version of the video that you are about to begin watching right now, but for just filmmaking gear, definitely let me know in the comments section below. But today we are talking about the VFX side of things. So here are 10 assets and resources for assets that I've used all the time and that I think are incredibly useful for VFX artists and editors out there. Hey, what's up? Christian here for Kriscoart. Pretty excited for this video. It's pretty timely considering Black Friday and Cyber Monday is right around the corner if you're watching this by the time I'm uploading. I hope you are, because there's some really sweet deals in this video, but if not, of course, don't worry if you are a little too late. These are still great assets and tools to have either way. It just so happens that right now some of these are discounted. Also included in the list are some free elements that you guys can use from different sources. So let's jump right in, and these are my personal favorites, my top 10 resources for visual effects artists. So first up is Action VFX. This is an amazing platform and just source of so many good elements and assets that you could use for, as the name suggests, more action-driven VFX and scenes of that nature. So you have stuff like explosions, muzzle flashes. These guys have shot it in a way that is really incredible, super high-res stuff. Everything fits in the frame. That's actually one of their main things starting out, was saying, look, we're different, we're doing things in this way so that no matter what scenario you're dropping these assets in, you're never gonna have a problem of having to, like, you know, mask the edges out and feather them out like we've been used to for a lot of assets like this in the past. And some of these assets even come in like a log color format, which is great if you're trying to match it with footage, or if you're just trying to get a certain look out of the fire of the explosions or something like that. So it's really useful to have. And they actually have a Black Friday sale. So starting November 22nd, you can save up to 55%. So this is a great chance to take this opportunity and really start to up your game in VFX when it comes to explosions and that sort of stuff. It definitely becomes a lot more fun when you have tools that are playing with you and not against you. And aside from the quality, I just love the beginnings of this company and where they are so far, and the library of material that they have is really growing. So definitely recommend you guys check them out for all kinds of categories. I mean, smoke, debris, impact, particles, all of that good stuff that we need in our action sequences. Next up is Production Create, and I love this website. I just love browsing it. And the nice thing about this website, even for beginner VFX artists and compositors, is that some of these elements seem to have been taken already a couple steps further than just a raw natural element that you then have to work with. There's a lot of elements on this website that are already pre-made and that are a great starting point for you to then customize and to fit to whatever you specifically need. But there's just a lot of cases like that. There's so many great VFX assets that are already kind of built enough for you to just drop in and just get to enjoy the fun side of compositing. So that's why I really like this website. Production Create has so many great elements and they're always updating their libraries, so I'm always curious and excited to see what they come up with next, and I'll definitely be playing with these in a few upcoming videos. So yeah, can't wait for that. Anyways, moving on, next on the list, let me check. So one of the tools that I discovered from Envato and from that marketplace is VoluMax. This tool is honestly so amazing, not just for what it says that it does, which is, you know, changing landscapes and making them move a little bit more, and changing portraits of people's and photos and make them feel a little bit more 3D. This is stuff that we've seen a little bit before with some Photoshop workarounds and making, you know, 2D pictures feel like they're 3D. But the reason why I'm so excited about what this means for VFX artist is that now you can create a matte painting in Photoshop, for example, and you're creating a flat layer or a series of flat layers. But now with this tool in After Effects, this is a perfect workaround for camera projection and getting that sort of 3D feeling and parallax, not just in separating these flat layers in 3D space like we've always done in After Effects, but actually giving depth to those individual layers. That is huge. It's almost like you can figure out a Z depth based on the grayscale value, and I guess this tool uses displacement maps to distort the image in our perspective and seeing that, but it's so convincing and it works in a 3D workspace. There's just so many good things about this that I can't wait to show you in a proper tutorial, and I will be doing that very soon. I have a matte painting Photoshop After Effects workshop coming up with hopefully some guest speakers, and we'll be diving into VoluMax a lot more. But feel free to get it right now and experiment in your own projects, even if it's just for fun and you want to get some, some 3D results out of some 2D pictures. That's always cool. But the possibility of when it comes to what After Effects can do currently and this plugin for matte paintings is really, really exciting. Another element from VideoHive is flash effects. This is more on the motion graphics side of things. I've used this a lot in title animations, lyric videos, that sort of thing. But if you are into animation, like cartoon type of animation, this pack is so cool because you can now instantly have drag and drop assets that would have taken ages to draw out or animate. So this is really cool to have. And this is not to say that you can't use this stuff in real footage and composite it with real visual effects, because there's a lot of things in here, such as the energy category, that you can even composite in a realistic way into some live action footage. And yet another thing that I really like from VideoHive is this pack of dust. Dust in motion, I think is what it's called. They have a few series, but it's so incredible to just add a little bit extra tiny bit of detail to your footage, especially when you're in environments that motivate it. So like dusty environments, abandoned buildings. Whenever you have a chance to have some particles in the air, just add so much more dimension. And in some cases, it can really elevate your shots and make them feel a lot more cinematic. Now, I'm not saying to throw dust in every one of your shots, but when it is motivated, again, this is such a cool thing to have in your toolkit. And last but not least, from VideoHive is a pack called CinePunch. This is essentially a mega pack. It just contains a ton of stuff for editors, for VFX artists, and it is so incredibly useful. They have transitions, all kinds of overlays, including some film burn stuff that I really love from real film emulsion and real film burns. It looks so cool. Again, a lot of elements, like foreground elements that you can use, such as dust particles, glitter, things that you can add maybe in your music videos to spice some things up. Really, really good stuff to have on hand and to just, be able to have right there to experiment with on whatever project needs it. And some of the best stuff that they have is actually some of their lens flares and some of their spotlight fog elements. This is all really cool stuff that you can add into your scenes, even to up the production value to make stuff feel bigger and more cinematic. So whether you're working that into the details of your shot or using that for visual effects and getting these real elements combined with some CG stuff, this is really, really great stuff. And the nice thing about all of what I just showed you is that if you're watching this video before November 27th, you have a chance at getting this stuff and a lot of different tools on the Envato platforms for 50% off. So definitely take advantage while you can. And if it's too late, again, these are great things to have regardless of the price. Now, we've mentioned a few paid products, and honestly, they're worth every penny, but I thought I would include some free assets for you guys in this list as well. And Premium Beat is a great source for that. They have a lot of assets that they give out for free, and not just assets, but it's also a good platform for general knowledge and filmmaking goodness. So I really recommend them. So really love what those guys are doing over there, and they have some really cool elements. I'm showing some of these on screen, and some of the ones that stood out to me are the anamorphic light packs and light overlays. Those are really hard to come by for free. There's a ton of stuff on different marketplaces, but it's nice to have some of these options for free. And I'm personally a huge fan of the anamorphic aesthetic when it comes to flares, the bokeh, the way the image looks, everything. But sometimes, you know, it's a little bit on the pricier end of things, even to rent. Renting anamorphic glass is very hard. So that's why I love that there's overlays like this one. If you're shooting, you know, a music video or something and you just want that anamorphic vibe to it, this is a great way of, you know, taking some steps into that direction. You can add the crop bars, but again, if you introduce these flares, it just overall makes that anamorphic feel come out that much more. And speaking of free stuff, I'm kind of going to plug myself in here for number 8. And that's my VIP list. It's an email list that I've created where I just send out some free stuff once in a while. I just sent out a mega pack for textures, for backgrounds and that kind of stuff. But I will be releasing some new stuff very soon. I think I'm going to do like a volumetric light pack. So it's going to be a bunch of images and overlays and maybe some videos of volumetric light, maybe against a dark background that you guys can then overlay onto footage, images, and have these nice light shafts in your shots. So that's coming up soon, and that's going to be part of my VIP list. So if you haven't signed up for it yet, definitely take advantage of this moment because it's free. I don't spam you with anything else, and yeah, you get some free stuff. Did I say that enough? Number 9, of course, the OG of all of this is Videocopilot. I've mentioned Action Essentials in the past, and I've kind of did the comparison where Action VFX is now sort of the more modernized version of that and higher quality version of that. And that's not to take anything away from Action Essentials, it's just kind of more of a matter of fact. The stuff from Action VFX is shot at a higher resolution and just more recently. But that doesn't mean that I don't still use Action Essentials. They still have some very particular assets in there that I still find very useful even today. And there's a ton of other plugins on there such as optical flares, Element 3D, such a ton of good stuff that really enables you to extend the possibilities of After Effects. And these are some of the better tools that I've found to appreciate more and more over time. Whenever something is a little bit ahead of the curve and trying to you know, really understand a software and saying, okay, well, what more can we do within here? I love that. That's what VoluMax does. That's what a lot of tools from Videocopilot do. So definitely recommend Videocopilot for that, as well as all the educational content that they have on there, all the tutorials. A lot of the tutorials on there is actually how I got my start in After Effects. I remember back in the day, I actually watched the basic training series that Andrew Kramer had on there, and it helped me so much. And it was actually one of the main motivators for me to share everything that I learned at the time within After Effects on this channel. So huge shout out to Videocopilot, definitely check them out. So next up we have Film Riot, which I've loved for a very long time. They've really paved the way for a lot of filmmakers on YouTube back when it really wasn't so much of a thing. So I really respect their hustle and just the amount of good stuff that they've shared over the years. But we're not just recommending channels, that could be a whole other video actually, but they have a store called the Triune Store where they have a ton of really great stuff. So from LUTs that mimic popular films to music, sound design stuff, there's a ton of really great stuff, including some special feature content that I find always fascinating, and they sort of break down and go a little bit further in the behind the scenes and the commentary of some of the short films that they've made on the channel. Okay, so that is it. Those are some of the tools and assets that I find myself using time and time again, and hopefully you have found and discovered a few new ones that you'll be using as often as well. And if you actually have used some of these in the past, let me know in the comment section below, or let me know of some maybe unique and interesting ways that you use some of these assets in your own projects. If you're watching this video right now, again, I really encourage you guys to take advantage of Black Friday and Cyber Monday. If you've been thinking about, you know, looking into some of these VFX or need some tools in your toolkit for your future projects, take advantage of the time when they're cheaper right now. Some of them that we mentioned, like Video Hive on Envato, are up to 50% off. Action VFX 55% off. So this is kind of a good time to start getting some of this stuff. All right, I hope you found this video useful, and if you did, give it a like and share with your friends, and subscribe if this is your first time on my channel. We do a lot of filmmaking stuff stuff here, and I have some really exciting projects, workshops, and short films coming up that I can't wait to share with you guys. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. My name is Chris for Kriscoart, and I will see you next time.